Yo, what up? DJ Sus One, the feature presentation podcast. We got a legend on the episode today. You might have seen him in classic movies that I grew up on, like Above the Rim, Waiting to Exhale, 5 Heartbeats. He's currently on The Chi, which is a very, very big show right now, which is going, it's in season 6. Leon is in the building. What's good, my brother?
I'm good. Good to be here. Good to see you. All that good stuff.
Nah, thank you for coming through, man. I was going over your career. Like, I know a lot of the movies you're in just from being raised by a lot of the movies that you were in, but I was going over your career, and it's like very, very, very impressive resume, like things that I forgot about, things that I didn't know, and like congratulations on all the success that you've had thus far, bro.
No, thank you, man. I feel blessed. I've had a career this long and this successful, so thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, nah, God bless. So let's start off by talking about The Chi, your character, Alonzo. What can you tell me about your character and people who are new to the show? I know it's in season 6, but there's some people who are new about your character, Alonzo, and what you're bringing.
Well, they are new because my character is new.
Oh, well, you're new. Yes,
exactly. Alonzo is a type of attorney that gangsters like. He knows how to get them off or almost get them off.
Nice.
And I have ties to Alicia. It's played by Lynn Whitfield.
Legendary, by the way.
Without a doubt. And, yeah, we go back. So, yeah, it gets a little interesting and spicy with Alicia and Alonzo.
It gets really spicy?
Yeah, you know, there's some history there.
Okay. Well, what can we expect from the Alonzo character? What do you bring to the character? Like you're saying, it's one of the lawyers that gangsters like. What do you have to tap into mentally to get into that type of vibe?
Well, basically just knowing the story. You know, everything with me is all based on the story. So what I do is I get into the story of what's being told, and I realize the part that I play in it and the impact it's supposed to have. That's really my job as an actor, you know, is to breathe life into a character that a writer wrote and to have the impact in the story that is meant. And that's basically my job, and you know, I try to fulfill it to the best of my ability every time.
What attracts you to a lot of these roles? Like, were you a fan of The Chi for all these 5 seasons before you were attached to it?
No, I hadn't watched a lot of The Chi. I've seen some of it, but I hadn't watched a lot of it.
Did they approach you, or you were like?
Yeah, I guess they approached me. I mean, all I heard was an offer, so I guess they approached me. Yeah. So, but yeah, you know, the producers and stuff were and everybody on the set they were big fans, and so it was nice. They got a really great crew there at The Chi. I think what Lena White has assembled is really nice and fantastic, especially for us people of color. So nice. I applaud her.
Nice.
Yes.
Is there anything that you could tell us of some of the story that we can expect without giving away everything?
I think
as far as Alonzo goes in the whole season 6.
I think that you'll get to see some relationships you didn't know existed, some ties you didn't know existed, and some plot twists that you weren't expecting.
That's as much as you could give.
That's as much as I can give. I'm under contract.
I hear you. So, look, this is my first time talking to you. How did you get into the game? I know that we're going back right now. How did you get into the game as an actor, you know, and what inspired you to be an actor?
Wow. My acting path happened kind of a weird way. I guess when I was in grade school, I saw my sister. She's much older. She was a senior in high school. They did this rock and roll revival at their school, and I went to parochial schools. So we used to do this corny variety show all the time. So I went to the nuns and said, yo, can we do this like rock and roll revival thing? And I choreographed all the numbers, and I played, you know, different characters in history, and it was a big success. We had to do it over again, but I went to all boys prep academy, and it was no drama department, so I just excelled in athletics. Got a lot of scholarship offers in basketball. Decided I wanted to go to L.A. for whatever reason. Never even been there.
Really?
So it was on a campus at Loyola Marymount, and a graduate film student chased me down campus and begged me to be in his movie. And I was like, you know, we have a theater arts department. I bet you somebody there be happy to be in your movie. He says, no, there's something about you, man. Your style, something. I feel like you're going to be in a movie.
Really? They saw your look?
Yeah. He says, I just want to be the first person to put you in a movie. So I did it, and I had an experience that, you know, we've all had, where, you know, you meet somebody for the first time, maybe for lunch or for a meeting, but you feel like you've known them way longer than the time you
Yeah,
spent
yeah,
with
yeah.
them. That's the way I felt on the set. I felt natural, like this was me. So I switched my major, became a drama major, studied acting, studied at American Academy of Dramatic Arts, HB Studios, and on, and perfected my craft, and got into it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I've seen you in a lot of movies, but what do you consider your big break? What was your big break as far as you're concerned? Because I've seen actors that I thought something was their big break, and they were like, I was broke then, or whatever. What do you consider your big break?
I'm still waiting to have it.
Really?
Well, it depends on what you consider a big break. I may have had my big break several times for other people, but for me, no. I mean, I'm probably waiting for something a little bit different.
Wow.
Yeah.
So can you speak on that? What would please you as far as your career in this game? Because I feel like your resume is all the way impressive.
Yeah, I feel like my resume is impressive enough to get another job, but I want to tell stories. I want to tell my own stories, and I want to be put in a position where I can do that and see what the public thinks about that. So that's really, when you say big break to me, that's the kind of break that I want, to be able to tell my stories and be able to tell and do the roles that I want to do, as opposed to the roles that I'm chosen to do.
I hear you. Well, let me talk about some legendary movies, because since I have you here, I got to talk about it. One very big movie in the hip hop culture is Above the Rim.
Mm-hmm.
Legendary. Actually, my partner over here, Rich, was telling me how much he worships that movie, and we all have. How was it working with, first of all, the legendary Tupac Shakur, and how was the energy behind that movie when it was being made?
Okay, I don't do shout outs, but shout out to my New York Knicks. We talk about New York basketball right now.
Yes.
So we must mention the New York Knicks. Thank you very much.
And shout out to everybody repping New York, by the way. New York Knicks.
Yes, without a doubt. Above the Rim was great, in the sense that for me, being a schoolyard basketball player, I played on that court. I averaged 30 when I was in high school. So for me to come back and, be able to do a movie there is just, for a New Yorker, for me,
Yeah.
And the fact that it's became such a part of the culture, I'm humbled by it. Working with Tupac was great for me. I remember the first day he came in for a reading. He was, loud and bodacious, very Tupac-ish, as I should say. And but he came up to me and it was like this. He said, "You're not gonna have a problem with me because you are in the 5 Heartbeats." So that movie just reverent amongst our
We're going to talk about the 5 Heartbeats.
Yeah,
as well.
so he was 100 with me in the scenes, and I think all the scenes were great. I thought we did some really good work, and he had a lot of problems other than working with me during that time that interrupted the shoot. But
at that time there was nothing going on with the all the legendary hip hop beefs at that time, right?
No, he was very good at creating his own beefs.
No.
Yeah. I think he shot
sure.
an off-duty police officer during that time.
Yeah, I remember that story. Yep.
Yeah, and then he had another altercation that he had to go to court for. So yeah,
I see. Well, either way, you guys made a legendary movie, a very big one for the culture. You know what I'm saying? Did you know it was gonna? Do you ever know that it's gonna be big for the culture, or
Never.
Have a cult following the way it does?
You never know what's going to happen with something. You could think that it's going to be fantastic. It can even test high, and the next thing you know, it's not marketed right.
Yeah.
Or you do something that you think is really small and not a big deal, and it's like, what the hell?
Facts.
Everybody's talking about it. That's like when I, did the video with Madonna. Like a Prayer.
Guys, Like a Prayer. Anybody that is raised in the 80s knows that he was the star of Madonna's Like a Prayer.
I'm thinking, okay, I didn't even want to do it at first.
Madonna was a big deal back then, though.
Yeah, but I'm a serious actor. What they want me to do? Dance with Madonna? I didn't know. I'm like they're saying they're searching for men all around the world. I'm like, okay, so when I did it, I'm thinking, okay, this song I think is gonna go number 1. So I figure it's gonna be a section in the entertainment. It was live at 5. It was a lead-off story in the news. They had to sign me an interpreter for different countries.
Wow.
To talk to the press, and I'm like, over a music video? I was doing studio movies at the time.
Wow.
So you just never know. You never know. Yeah.
Well, look, you brought up Five Heartbeats. We got to talk about the Five Heartbeats. That's another movie that's legendary that keeps coming up for every generation. The younger generation's watching it right now. Very cult classic. It's an amazing movie. Like, did you have a good experience filming that movie? And it was directed by, if I'm correct, Robert Townsend. And it was co-written by Keenan Ivory Wayans, correct? Legends.
Exactly. Yeah, you know, Robert, the whole time that we were working together, he kept saying, you know, I'm trying to create a classic here. We don't have 5 black men who, you know, stood together through it all, you know. And he said, I want to make this movie. I want to make it a classic. And talking about never knowing, okay, here's a movie that's at 20th Century Fox that's testing higher than Home Alone. They have us on private jets, going to different cities. I mean, they know this movie's going to bust.
Wow.
But 4 weeks before the movie comes out, Robert and the studio are still arguing about a trailer.
Really?
And they wound up putting out a trailer that, you know, that Robert didn't particularly care for. And it was just us singing and dancing with our hair conked and stuff. So, you know, young people look like, what is this?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, it should have had Big Red hanging my man from the window.
Facts.
You know, and just like, yeah, you know, we want conflict. You know, and so that hurt the marketing of the movie.
It's a perfect example of what you were talking about. It's good to hear these stories because these movies be legendary and people don't understand how the average audience doesn't understand how significant the marketing is and how it translates in their minds to might not want to see the movie or to want to see the movie. They don't realize.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So what people hear, they hear about the movie before they go see it, and that's what makes them want to go see it.
Yeah. Why is Five Heartbeats? This is just my personal question. Why is it not for sale anywhere? It is streaming now, finally, but it's only available for rent or streaming. For us that want to purchase it outside of DVD, it's just not available on digital. I always search every few months to see if it's available for purchase, and it hasn't been. I didn't know if you knew if there was like a rights problem or anything like that.
No, I mean, I know you can always get a bootleg CD on 125th Street. That was out like the day before the movie came out, so probably the most bootleg movie of all times.
Fact, that's a fact.
Yeah, I don't really know. Actually, it's the first time I'm hearing about it. Really,
crazy. Well, now you know.
Yeah.
Well, look, you worked with Tupac, legendary. You've done so much work. Another legend you worked with, Waiting to Exhale, and Whitney was in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
How was it working? You know, around her, and how was it working on Waiting to Exhale? You have so many legendary movies, my brother.
You know, Waiting to Exhale was one of those movies that was presented to me by the studio, and Forrest Whitaker, who directed it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you know, I jumped at the opportunity because, you know, so often when we do movies as men, you know, women play just the supporting roles. And so here was a chance that where women were the 4 leads in this movie, and us men get to support them. And me, you know, being lucky that women have been a big part of my following since the beginning, you know, I jumped at the opportunity to play a supporting role, you know, for them. So, and I'm glad it was such a big success.
Did you get a chance to really vibe out with Whitney?
Not too much, a little bit,
But
yeah, she was funny.
She was a funny person.
Yeah, she's funny because she's real. You know, it's
yeah.
like if you talk to her for a little bit, you know she Jersey. You know
Facts.
what I'm saying?
That's what the stories I hear, that she's completely real.
Yeah. She's real.
Bro, another legend that you worked with in another legendary movie, another one with a big cult following is Cool Runnings.
Yeah.
How was it? That's a legendary movie. How was it working with the legendary John Candy?
John Candy was an amazing guy. You know, very generous, very happy to be doing that movie. It was a different type of movie for him. Actually, when he got cast, because I was already cast, you know, I was a little taken aback by this selection of John Candy too. I'm like, really?
Mm.
And but he wanted to prove that, you know, he could be that type of actor, and he was amazing in the movie. And you know, the movie's a huge success all around the world. I'm always hearing about it, no matter where I travel. You know,
Everywhere.
I was blessed to have a conversation with my favorite tennis player 2 nights ago, Roger Federer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And,
Okay.
When I mentioned Cool Runnings, he was just like, "Oh yeah, we love that movie."
Everybody loves that movie, bro.
Yeah. So.
Also, I don't know how this panned out, but you did JT and the Five Heartbeats.
Mm-hmm.
You did Little Richard,
Mm-hmm.
and you also did the Temptations.
Mm-hmm.
How, like, do they love you as a singer? Like, how did that pan out like that?
Well, Otis Williams, the founding member of the Temptations, I met him shortly after doing the 5 Heartbeats.
Okay.
And he said that he has a book, and they're going to make it into a movie. And he wants me to play him when they make it into a movie.
Wow. So he handpicked you.
Yeah, so eventually the movie came around, and they wanted to offer me the Temptations. But in the meeting, they said to me, we're well aware that Otis would like for you to play him in the movie. He says, but before we get into negotiations with you, we'd like to know what role is it that you think you should play in this movie.
Meaning they thought maybe you thought you
No,
would
they said,
resonate?
no, they had something else in mind.
Oh.
But they wanted to know what I thought. And they knew that, Otis wanted me to play him, and that's the way it would go if I thought that way. But I told them, I said, well, if you're asking me, I think I would best serve this movie if I took on the role of David Ruffin. And they were like, oh, my God, we were so hoping you said that. We didn't know who we were going to get to play David Ruffin if you didn't play David Ruffin. And so that's how that happened, yeah.
And they were just, besides them, he was completely okay with it.
Yeah. They talked to him, and he, and I talked to him too as well. He says, "No, I understand. I understand. I think that's probably the best decision."
Wow, man. So many amazing stories. Also, I was gonna mention like a prayer. You've also worked on the Donald Glover series Swarm. You've worked on City on a Hill. You worked on A Day to Die with Bruce Willis. How was it working with Bruce Willis?
Interesting. Bruce had already was into his current state right now that he's in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was having a hard time remembering things, including his lines, and he looked great, fantastic. I guess that's what happens with that particular disease. You don't remember things, so there's nothing to remember bad.
Yeah.
And so he looked great, and it was great, but it was we had to work around that a bit. I think the movie came out good and was doing well, especially in Europe. But it was tough to see him like that.
I'm surprised they allowed him. God bless Bruce Willis, one of the greatest of all time. I'm surprised they allowed him to work under those conditions. I hear you. All right. Well, God bless Bruce Willis, but he was. Besides that, he seemed pretty cool to work with.
Yeah. Very nice guy. Very nice guy. Yeah.
So wow. So I'm just mentioning these because you've worked with so many legends. Also, you of course you've acted, you produce, you've done music. What is your favorite thing to do? Like, is acting your baby, or would you rather produce? Would you rather do like if you only could choose one, music, acting, or producing?
Wow.
Or basketball?
No, strictly tennis now.
Oh, tennis?
Yeah, I'm on that grown and sexy thing right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Basketball, guys want to fight you and all that stuff. Tennis,
I saw the Knicks game last night.
Tennis, you hit a good shot, and your opponent goes.
True, that's a fact.
So I can't pick one. I tour with my band a lot, Leon and the Peoples, and I love doing that just as much. But it's different for me. Like I said earlier, I'm a trained actor, and my job is to bring a writer's character to life for you. But when I'm on stage, singing with my band, that's me. These are the songs that I wrote. These are the songs that I want to perform. This is my personality. And it's all entertainment to me. I love them.
You love them all equally.
I love them equally, and actually, the music part is fantastic for me because this acting world can be really rough, as far as the ups and downs and reasons why you get roles and don't get roles. And so, like even when we had an actor strike, I was like, bet, I'll just go on tour. You know what I'm saying? I was already set up with my band and everything, so we were, it was good.
So you could never be pigeonholed to anything. That's good.
Yeah, definitely. You don't want anyone. It's like it's the same thing. I consider your career very much the way I consider fashion.
Explain.
Like my clothes don't wear me. I wear my clothes.
Heard you.
And the same thing with my career and in entertainment. I'm the entertainer. Entertainment doesn't dictate what I do.
Heard you.
You know what I'm saying?
Speaking about they don't dictate what you do, is there anything that you want to do in your career movie-wise? You know, as far as maybe genres or anything that you haven't done yet?
Oh, there's so much. There's so many things I'd like to do in movie where I think that's what keeps me young. You know, there's so many things I want to do. There's so many people I want to work with that I haven't worked with. Yeah, so I'm constantly looking to do something. I guess that I do listen to fans, and I think that what I'd like to do, which I haven't done yet, I have one in the works to see if it happens, is I want to do a gut-wrenching romance.
Really?
Yeah, like
I was hoping you said horror movie.
No, I meant like really pull at your emotions. You know, one of those movies, you know, like it's different for guys. You know, we'll see a movie and we'll be like, that was dope, that was all right. Women that come out of the movie like, oh God, it was
That's
so
a fact.
good. It was so good. It was so good. Crying tissues. That's what I want.
All the
right
ladies
there.
in the room is looking at us like,
Yeah. I want that. You know, I want that because I think that's what they want.
I
They've
hear you.
expressed that to me, and you know, and so, you know, we don't get to see much of that. We used to see it back in the day with Billy D, but we don't.
Yeah,
get
facts. Billy
we
D.
don't get
Williams.
to see much of that now. So,
Well, look, man, I'm looking forward to more work that you're doing. The Shy season 6 already started, but the episodes are on Paramount Plus every Friday, and it's on air every Sunday. Is there anything else you could tell us? I think you've told us you're not trying to tell us too much about the Alonzo character and what's coming for season 6 for The Shy. It's a big deal. Is there anything else that you want to add?
yeah, watch the show.
Watch the show.
Watch the show. You know, it's Paramount Plus, Showtime. You know, get it, watch it. Black excellence.
Well, look, man, you've done theater, you've done music, you've done producing, you've acted in so many legendary movies. Like I said earlier, your career is beyond impressive. There's so many things. I could have kept this interview going for like another hour, but I know we're on a time frame. But I just wanted to say thank you for, you know, creating such legendary moments in the culture and movies that raised us and continuing to do legendary things such as, you know, Blue Bloods and The Shy and all that. We appreciate you, and thank you for coming to the Feature Presentation Podcast, my brother. And thank you for repping New York.
Yo, listen, thank you for having me. I always appreciate it when someone wants to have me on this show and talk about my career. I don't take it lightly. And, you know, we are here in New York. I do rep New York. Let's go Knicks. Let's keep it going.
Let's go Knicks. DJ Sus One, the Feature Presentation Podcast. Leon!